absolutely. We were here in the first year, which was not in this building, but was next door. And it was a very small fair, but very open, very funny. The doors were open, everybody went out. Today, when you want to go out, you have to show 20 papers. And we had a Jean Dewasne show. We will maybe go to the Dewasne in a little while. And my husband said, I will make the stand for you. And unfortunately, the opening came and we were still nailing the stand. But then we had a lot of luck as the conservator of the Bern Museum dragged a lot of clients to us, and we sold quite a few pieces of Jean Dewasne. It was a very successful first fair. There was already a fair in Germany, and we felt that to open up the gallery clients, we should go to fairs. So we applied to Basel and were accepted. It was you applied, you were accepted. There was no big committee or throwing you out or discarding. You just came and you inscribed and you were at the fair. And this, I think, was a good decision. So after that, we did it every year, and this year we're the 44th time. We're the only French gallery actually being at this fair for all the fairs. 44 years, and we're making our 50th year of gallery activity, which is also a very long time. I don't know if we did something right, but one thing we did, I think, is when we sold a piece, we paid the artist. That was our main credo. Maybe we had to pay money to other people, but the artist was the main reason. And we also, little by little, changed at a certain time into publications. There was a big time into publications 20, 30 years ago. And when that sort of faded down, we went back to the unique piece, which was, I think, at the time, the right decision. So we felt what was going on. And also, at a certain point in time, we went into one direction, which is now many, many years, the constructive art, mainly for the French artists, but also for foreigners, European, mainly European. I would very much like to show the Nom Garbo, which is maybe not the most expensive piece, but which is certainly the most spectacular piece. Garbo in 1930s discovered that there was a special material which is called perspex, and he tried to make a very light but very interesting geometric piece. Garbo was born in Russia, and actually his name was Nahum Abramovich Pevsner. But his brother Anton Pevsner was already a sculptor, so he decided he should be named Garbo. This piece has been in a very many exhibitions, including the MoMA in New York, all over the world, in important shows. And also Garbo was the co-founder and involved in the French abstraction creation, together with Herbin, of course, and into the whole movement of that constructive art after the First War. This piece is Paul Bury. Paul Bury is a Belgian artist, and he had in the 60s, 70s the idea that a piece of art is no longer something that you should only look at and with color, but it should move. And it joins actually a great show in Paris in the Grand Palais, where the movement from the 60s is something that all these artists invented. It's not only him, but of course Victor Vasarely. When you walk through certain pieces, you see the pieces moving. You are moving and the piece is moving. Or like the other piece I have on the other side, which is Ivaral, where I was standing in front. So Tinguely, of course, and many, many others. It was a very exciting time when art became something that should move, and the spectator discovered he could even go into a piece, like the big Soto that is moving and you walk into the Soto. It's moving very slowly. That's the surprising thing when you look at it. This is a piece from a Hungarian-born artist, Etienne Beauty, and it is special. Etienne was working a lot in wood. This whole piece is one wood piece, and it's belonged to the family of Ervin in the collection. And Garbo, I had another piece here, you can see it anymore, it's gone. Garbo is also with this whole movement of abstraction creation. He died very early, that's why you don't see him too much. But he's well known, and he did all the big shows throughout Europe from almost 1910 onwards. So it's important. We have important artists that are not so well known to the big public. Today you have to go through the press so many times, but it's difficult for all these artists. If you don't know art history, it's very difficult to appreciate. But this is art history, and this is definitely art history. This is spectacular and wonderful in Basel, that you really find what I call amateur. The amateur is looking, he comes maybe once, twice, 3 times, 10 times. He's interested, he's searching. I had a wonderful amateur many years ago. He died, unfortunately, but after he didn't know everything I was presenting. But after 1-2 years, he knew better than I did. So I got lessons from him, which is absolutely fantastic. And then he sort of chose, very, very interesting. His choice was very good. So after a while, the good amateur knows what to buy and makes a good choice. I'm standing under a calder from 1963, which belongs to a very famous French collection. And it was actually a gift from Calder to the collector. And it's light, it is not so big, it is called Birds in Flight, and I really love it. It's something Calder, I have myself a Calder in my own collection, and I think he's the one light, amusing, interesting artist, and he also lived a long time in France, in Sachet. I had my country house not so far from Sachet. We visited his atelier once. It was a great experience. Today, unfortunately, Calder for the public, the great public, is a bit expensive, I would say, unfortunately. This is a piece of Jean Dewasne, an artist we affectionate particularly. It's a motorbike, I don't know how you say, it's something that is mounted on a motorbike. You see the seat. They started doing this in 1965, and there's not a motorbike, but a car, a piece in the Centre Pompidou, He did 7 of these, and we find them so exciting and interesting. We have 4 of these motorbikes. Every piece is differently painted. He wanted to know what does flat painting on a round piece. And Jean Dewasne is really the man who introduced us to abstract art and to the whole movement. He was sort of our thinking father, and now his widow gave a lot of pieces to the French Museum, so we think that finally the French Museum will move a little bit about this really important French artist. Again, not so well known, as France didn't do enough, but he was in the Biennale in Venice and in Sao Paulo and in America. It's really, I love his works. He did a lot for architecture. He did the metro in Hanover, and big things, La Défense in Paris, also in Denmark, a whole fabric in Denmark, fabulous. Really very, very good and interesting man. Talking about color, a whole theory, has a book on color. I mean, quite interesting actually.